Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, or Senstaku, as you might know me on Twitter, the executive producer here, and I just want to thank you for watching. It really means a lot to us that people watch, listen to, and enjoy our shows. If you want to help us keep making these shows as fun and lively as they can be, please join your fellow fans in supporting us at our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms or by subscribing to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/finalshowfilms. It really means a lot to us that the amount of you who do support us continue to do so, especially our $25 plus tier supporters on Patreon. Antitonic, Cat Waterflame, Samantha Bates, Maureen Monty, and Gravity Alexander. Every little bit helps, so thank you to all of our patrons and subs. Check us out on Twitter at Final Show Films and on our website at www.finalshowfilms.com for updates, go-live notifications, and more. We love interacting with you, so feel free to tweet at us or email us at finalshowfilms@gmail.com. That being said, please relax and enjoy. Actually, go to the online screen.
We are now on the gaming screen.
Okay, can they hear us?
Everything is reading as go.
Okay, OBS is indicating that we are audible.
Yes.
Is Pretzel turned off?
Pretzel is on the shut up mode.
Okay.
I don't even know if Pretzel was working earlier, but
Fair.
okay. So hello everybody.
New computer, new problems. Who dis?
Yes, we got new computer. A lot fewer problems, but problems that we haven't dealt with before, because we're also using new software. And the software is less janky, the setup's less janky, and we're just not sure what to do with all this lack of jank.
We're so used to fixing jank that when the jank doesn't exist, we're not sure how to fix anything else.
I'm so used to this like shady computer with the wires hanging out. What is this newfangled light up technology?
You're welcome.
So, today we are starting the third chapter of Untethered in the Call of Cthulhu universe, and this will, of course, involve for those of you who have not encountered any of the Untethered before, the brief rundown is, we have a group of individuals, all hailing from a world which they discovered was not the only world. Upon defeating a corrupt empire, they discovered a cult dedicated to bringing a being known as an ethivore, a being which survives by draining the life force of people in a world specifically attuned to a specific emotion. In this case, the emotion is fear. And so a being is trying to enter their world and incite panic so it can consume the fear and lives of everyone on it, which is generally undesirable. They also learned, though, that they are part of a small group of people called the Untethered. They are not bound to their world. They are free to leave. And they have done so in hopes of finding a way to defeat this threat. Going to one world, they found that there wasn't a whole lot of information there regarding the ethivores directly, but they did find a lot of information about an individual named Strafonio, who has written extensively about traveling the worlds and the crossing universes. From there, they're headed to a new world where they have been assured there are a large number of ethivores who are all somehow contained by various means, and they are here to study the means of containment of these ethivores. As we start, we join our 6 players. If you want to go ahead and give yourselves your quick introduction, on my left.
I'm Galadir Alunai, and I am the ship's astrophysicist.
On my far right.
Yeah, he doesn't go in order.
My far right.
Over there. Oh. He doesn't go in any kind of order.
Yeah, I remember. Hey, I'm Rudy, and I'll be playing Kyle, the author of the ship.
All right. On the middle right.
Oh, it's me.
Middle left. Whatever. Left, right.
I'm Holly. I am taking a break from the insanity that is Taro right now.
She figured that it would probably be a good idea to not bring the already insane character into a world where you die by losing your sanity.
But she will be back after this whole Call of Cthulhu thing. I am for now playing Sandra Rosen. And she is an arborist.
And then on my immediate right.
That would be me. I'm Stan. I'm playing Duncan, security guard.
On my far left.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Gora Hozuki, who is part of the security team.
And on my middle right.
Hey, I'm Zach, and I'm playing Uterasu, the ship's counselor.
And to go and give a warning, Call of Cthulhu is a Lovecraftian horror simulator, for lack of a better word. The first couple episodes are going to be, fairly mild, establishing normal, a couple unsettling things, but the point of the game is to make people feel uncomfortable. Just so you're aware.
So if you're watching at home or listening at home and you feel the need to stop, that's perfectly fine.
And if you see me just punch my husband, that's okay too. It's done with love.
Exactly. But to start with, our individuals are, the year is 2352. These individuals are on a 250-year mission to head to the nearest inhabitable planet.
Austin can't talk well.
Planet 128 Ross, which is a small planet orbiting a star system, the Ross star system, that they have determined to be potentially inhabitable for life. Now, this is 11 light years away, so it is going to take 250 years. They are on year 96 of this journey, meaning that none of the people on this ship have ever seen Earth. Most of them have never even seen a planet. So, with that in mind, the ship that they are on is the ISS Selkie. It is a smaller ship that moves ahead of the fleet and scouts out potential resources, sends back information for course redirection to the rest of the fleet, and is specifically designed to be able to accelerate and decelerate. The other ships, being much larger, are not able to do so. Because once you get something going at 1/10 the speed of light, stopping it is really hard. The ship itself is just over 700 meters across and is 72 decks high. However, several of the decks are non-functioning at the moment. There is a current number of people is 753 out of a potential 3,000 people inhabiting the ship, so a large number of the inhabited spaces are emptied, and the decks thusly powered down to conserve resources. So, let us go ahead and start with Galadir. You are in the astrophysics lab. You have an excellent viewpoint on the front end of the ship. You get all the information regarding what is being first seen by the scanners ahead, making minor course redirections if necessary, if there is particularly large objects, mostly space debris. But to your interest, a planet has appeared in the distance. And you've known about this for a little bit. You've made some appropriate course redirections. But something odd has occurred about this planet.
Mm-hmm.
It is completely without inertia. It is not spinning.
So it's not a planet so much as it is a rock in space.
It's a rock in space. Yes,
It's
it's not.
an
It's
exoplanet.
it's
Yeah.
not orbiting a star.
Yeah.
But it's not spinning yet, and so it is perfectly round. You can't see anything about the surface because of the gas around it. But for an object to have no inertia aside from latent redshift is very strange. Because even if somehow a planet-sized object had formed and appeared, exterior forces should have impacted this. Something should have hit this planet and caused momentum.
Yeah. Like, it shouldn't have formed in the first place without any exterior forces to push it into that location.
I mean, it's perfectly common for a planet to escape orbit and fly off, but then it'll still have inertia because it flew off.
It didn't form where it's at, so it should have inertia.
Yeah.
Because if it formed where it's at, then there would be forces to give it inertia.
Yeah.
So it seems to have stopped somehow.
Yes, which is markedly abnormal. And this is something that you've noticed more recently because you made a course redirection assuming it had inertia.
Yeah.
And then as you're doing you're noticing it's way too stagnant.
What's the name of the my because I'm the only astrophysicist on the
You're the
ship,
only
right?
astrophysicist on the ship. You
There's the-
generally report things directly to either Brian O'Card, who is the director of personnel, but he comes from an engineering science background. So he has a pretty good understanding of physics, or Chin Ju, the captain of the ship.
There's an
Generally speaking, both.
intercom.
Yeah.
Okay. So sitting there, like 3 journals spread out across my lap, twirling a pencil or a pen in my fingers, kind of like this. I just sort of reach over with the pencil and hit the intercom button.
I'm assuming you hit the intercom to bridge.
Wherever O'Card would be.
It's sort of unpredictable. He wanders the ship a lot. You'd have to actually pull out your for lack of your transmission device, like your cell phone, basically,
Okay.
and call him.
Okay. In that case, yeah, I'll do that. I'll pull up I'll pull up his number and call him, and sort of hit his number and put it on speaker while I'm still watching this.
Okay. You do share this lab with the geologist,
Mhm.
the xenogeologist, Win Reddig, but he generally seems uninterested in stuff that you do.
Is
So
he there right now?
He's there.
Yeah.
He's lounging back in a chair. He's got some old American films playing on a TV into a pair of headphones while he is absent-mindedly going over some minerals that have been collected recently. They're nothing excited. He's just sort of confirming, yep, these are certainly minerals. Yep, there's nothing live on them.
You said?
Win Reddig.
Reddig, yeah. Redding or Redding?
Reddig.
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 Okay, yeah. So yeah, calling card.
Within a moment, answers, yes, Scala dear.
Could you come to the astrophysics lab? I want to show you something and make sure I'm not losing my mind.
All right. Stare into space long enough?
Well, no, actually. Staring at something.
Well, that's a little more concerning. That planet.
Yep.
All right. Be there in a few minutes.
Click.
It takes him about 5 minutes to get there. He has to go through lifts and the like.
I'm casually scratching a slightly awkwardly angled star with an eye in the middle of it on my journal. Not empowering it, just casually scratching it.
Because you can.
Yeah.
Wynn seems to be completely uncaring of any, that you just called Brian, if he's even aware.
Oh, yeah.
About 5 minutes later, like I said, Brian walks in. He is, as usual, dressed very well dressed, but his sleeves are always rolled up. He's got a white shirt, a thick brown vest, thick brown pants, and some work boots on.
I guess I should describe what I look like.
You should.
So Galadir is wearing very nice clothes. He's wearing sort of gray tone slacks, a white button down, no tie, but a gray pinstripe vest. Sleeves rolled up. Has a dress hat, a trilby that he isn't currently wearing. It's sort of set off to one side next to his research paperwork, and he always seems to have one of 3 journals on him at any point in time. At the moment, he's got all 3 of them. That, and again, has a silver, like sort of just a solid silver pen that he's constantly twirling when he's not using it to write. Black hair, slicked back, sort of shoulder length, but always pulled back out of his face. Blue eyes, and occasionally wearing sunglasses, which is odd because there's no sun.
Yeah. Sunglasses are a bit of a novelty thing at this point.
Yep.
Because either there's no sun or you're staring directly at a star.
Yeah.
Which sunglasses don't do a lot to help with.
Nope. Though anybody looks carefully at it, notice that his sunglasses are actually slightly color tinted. They are slightly green tinted for some reason. Anyways, when card gets there. So, you know how everything in space typically has you know how physics works, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that planet is ignoring physics.
Now, when you say ignoring physics, it's doing something all unto itself that doesn't move in the way that we understand physics, or it's doing something that so flagrantly goes against what we understand of physics that we need to rewrite our entire definition.
The first one, it has no momentum or inertia. It's not moving at all.
What do you mean not moving?
As in not spinning, not rotating, not shifting in space.
And goes over and looks at it. So it's...
And I'll pull up the charts that I've been obviously monitoring that would indicate this information.
So we've got your basic red shift. So it's anchored in the universe as the universe expands, but it's not doing anything itself. That's...
It can't have formed, it can't have gotten there, but it's there.
That's no moon, it's a space station.
Well,
seems like a gas giant,
No,
probably with
that'll
some.
be your roommate.
It's some form of gas
architects.
giant with some sort of.
you suspect that it's too dense to be a gas giant. From what you're,
it's too dense to be a gas giant.
You're guessing
probably
it's
has land, but...
you know, rock underneath and gases on top. Well, the gases were of interest in regards to collecting for resources, but I don't understand.
I mean, it'd be easy. It's not moving.
Yeah. Is it exerting gravity? So far as you can tell.
Is it?
I
I mean, it's holding shape, so it has to be.
I suppose if it has an atmosphere, it would have to have gravity. So it exerts force of its own. It just doesn't bend to any other forces.
Or at least it isn't at the moment. Other than...
Well, we're currently en route to be there in about 2 days.
Figure out what happens on the gravity of this ship starts affecting the planet.
Exactly. So we'll have to see what happens if
Just
we
push
do
the
an
planet
orbit.
along
We'll
and
have
take
to
it with us.
compare what effect we have on the planet, because we should have one, even if it is minuscule.
Yeah.
The planet's not that big. Yeah, the planet's roughly the size of like old Earth's moon.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting that it's holding that significant of an atmosphere for being that small. You would assume it's
Incredibly
majorly dense in the middle.
So if we land the ship and everybody gets out and we run a race, will that start spinning the planet?
Theoretically. Ever so close, at least.
Yes, actually.
Yeah,
it would.
theoretically, yeah. If there's no inertia as there is, theoretically
It
speaking,
would apply an amount of inertia to it.
Theoretically, if you threw a rock at it, it would apply an amount of energy to it.
theoretically, if a rock was flying through space and entered its gravitational field, it should apply even the smallest amount of inertia, and there's nothing to stop inertia in space.
Yeah.
So,
Though, actually, a small rock, it would depend on the size of the rock, because there's a certain amount of inertia dampening that mass does by itself, even in space.
And
but,
you say gravitational field, but they kind of go on forever, even if they're negligible by some point. So it should be getting pulled around by stars, but it's not.
yes.
Yeah, like...
Or it's just in a specifically perfect spot where every single gravitational field affecting it cancels the other ones out.
Yeah, that would be the...
Yeah, or as John Locke Cole says, it might just be somehow there's magically a heavy atmosphere, but there's low gravity on it, so you could just fly. Just swim through the atmosphere.
Yeah, so just sort of looking at it, like, it's
Interesting.
irritating me. The space rock is irritating me.
Well, that's a pretty safe presumption, given that everything that we've ever studied in astrophysics and has been confirmed over the past, say, 1,000 years is now being confronted
Yes,
by something, just a rock in space.
a rock in space with an atmosphere that it shouldn't have, in a place it shouldn't be. Yeah.
All right. I'll let the captain know that we're definitely going to be sending down some sort of crew to this planet.
In fantasy settings, Galadir is irritated by not knowing magic. In a sci-fi setting, Galadir is irritated by things not behaving.
Yes. It's like, wait a second. Science should always apply.
It's like the idea that you consider it mathematically. There are specific, very specific locations in space where all of the relative gravitational pulls cancel each other out, and this is just sitting right in that spot.
Yeah, but even in those spaces, you should
The lightest
have,
point.
yeah,
Yeah, because stars are moving.
yeah,
Because they're not inertialess.
and any change would move something out of that space. Any change at all. Again, of a certain amount of size, because again, there is a certain amount of inertial dampening that mass has by itself. That's why if everyone on Earth jumped at the same time, Earth wouldn't move, because it's too massive for us to impact in that way. But anyways.
Yes. Discussions of how physics works aside, this planet doesn't.
Yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, I'll be looking to send down a crew. I was going to send a crew down for gas collection anyway. I'll definitely want you to go along with.
Yep. If I'm going to cuss this planet out, I'm going to do it face to face.
Well, that's how I found it. You may want to refresh yourself. It's always good to cuss it out in a few languages, just in case it doesn't get your drift on the first one.
Yeah.
You have seen Brian O'Card get angry at more than one piece of electronics in this ship.
He gets mad at electronics. I get mad at astral bodies.
Yes. Well, he was the head engineer for a few years, and he speaks Gaelic, but you're not sure if he speaks Gaelic or just knows
Swears in
all
Gaelic.
the bad words in Gaelic. It's one or the other.
Speak Gaelic or you just swear in Gaelic?
There's not a whole lot of people on the... Not enough people on Earth speak Gaelic. There's much less somebody on a ship that has been away from Earth for over 90 years. It's not a useful language. Unless you just need to cuss out a power coupling.
Yeah.
Power couplings understand Gaelic?
Yep, sure do.
As well as they do English.
Yeah.
Alright, hey, Win. Win turns startedly and pulls the headphones out. Yeah. You're going down too. Right. Absolutely, of course.
The planet. Numbskull. I say, pointing at the planet.
Yeah! Yeah, there's probably rocks in there. If we had a better school, I guarantee someone on this ship would know geology better than you. It's a good thing you got an easy job. I mean, give me something more interesting to do.
Well, we have
He points at the planet.
we have a planet that's not active, that is not currently being acted on by any form of inertia. Basically, an impossible rock in an impossible place.
Wait.
Interesting enough?
How can it not have inertia?
It can't, but it doesn't.
Okay.
Read the briefing. I'm sure I'll have one for you later. Alright, I gotta go explain astrophysics to the captain. You know how that goes.
Yeah, that's why I didn't call him.
Her.
Her. That's why I didn't call her.
Alright. Keep on. I expect a full report on everything to do with this planet, at least that you can figure out.
Yep, will do. I
Right.
begin typing with one hand, because the other hand is still twirling the pen.
And Brian heads out to let you work on your report.
Mhm.
And let's see. We're going to cut forward a couple hours, and we are going to go to Gora. You are just you work an early shift. You're just getting off. It's about 2 in the afternoon. Where do you go?
Probably straight to her room.
All right. So you get off of your ship patrolling engineering, making sure that nobody's doing anything stupid around or has any contraband around high-power nuclear fusion reactors. And as you head back to your room, you live on the lowest possible deck, Deck 2, of 72. You get a message on the...
Deck 1 is mineral storage?
Deck 1 is gas storage.
Gas storage.
You get a call on your personal transmission device, your PCD.
Hello?
Hey, Gora. Jim here. I know you just got off, but I got a briefing for you and Duncan if you want to head down to security office.
You know, I was there like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
You could've
And
told
then
me-
the captain was here like 5 minutes ago. You want to tell her that?
Alright, be there soon.
Right. See ya. At the same time, Duncan, you're just starting your shift.
Okay.
Round 2 in the afternoon. Generally speaking, if you can manage it, you've got a hold of the shift at... There's an impromptu bar called The Rogue. It's a cafe in the morning, bar in the evening, and they generally like somebody in security to be there throughout the day just to make sure, because it's the one place where people get a little rowdy, and 95% of the stays in the brig are somebody had a little bit more than they were supposed to. So it's
Sounds good.
either you or Lynn who hangs out there.
Okay.
But recently, Jim has been not letting Lynn stay there because she's a little bit too prone to drinking on shift.
I'm Mr. Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can also hold your liquor better than Lynn can.
Right.
So, you're heading over there and you get a call on your PTD.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Duncan.
Yo, what's up?
I know you just left security office, but I need you to head back. Captain came in. I got something to talk about with you and Gora. So before you head over to the Rogue and have too much of a good time on shift.
Okay, do I need my red shirt for this?
You've been watching too much old TV.
I'll be there in a minute.
What is the color of the security uniforms?
Security uniforms are gray.
Okay.
Just expecting the group of us and Bob to go down to a planet. Not coming back.
It's not Bob, it's Win Redding.
Yeah. we're not- His last name is Redding.
Yeah.
It's cool. Only one person on the ship has died in the past 40 years. A guy named Lou Redding.
2 people.
Been murdered.
Been murdered. Sorry,
Been murdered.
sorry.
Yeah,
Only 2 people have
been
been murdered. Well, one person died in an accident.
It was an accident.
That's not a
yeah,
murder.
That's right. It was
Okay.
an accident.
One person. Only one person has been murdered, and that's Lou Redding.
Yeah.
Bit of a shootout. It was unfortunate.
It's not my fault.
Former chief of security.
It's not my fault.
Well, his nebulous relative is coming with us down to the surface.
His nephew.
Ah.
So,
I like that I, not knowing that information, picked the correct NPC to abuse.
generally speaking, you get to the office. It's pretty dead center of the ship, and almost as soon as you get off the lift, it's on the right. It's a large office, but for the most part, it's because it's got the armory on and shooting range on one side of it to keep up your skills, and then, on the other side is the brig, which is massive, but rarely used. Typically, it's overnight stays for people who get a little bit drunk. Aside from that, there is the camera network, but Brian O'Card doesn't like people to be constantly monitored and doesn't like the idea of just arbitrarily turning cameras on in people's homes without having any reason to suspect them, so he doesn't allow their use. And the captain generally agrees with him on this. Sitting at the desk is Jim Wei, the security head. He's in his early 30s. He's got black hair, brown eyes, your general Chinese look, and he has his feet propped up on the table, hands behind his head, full lounge mode, but you can tell that he's very observant despite this. Even when he's playing dumb, he's pretty on top of things.
What's the name of the captain again?
Captain Chinju,
Chen?
Qin,
Oh, Qin.
like the Emperor Qin.
Qin.
ZHU.
ZHU?
XHOU.
XHOU. Okay.
So randomly looking up syllables from my other character, Fall Chrysanthemum? Or Autumn Chrysanthemum? Oh, you just made it up.
Well, I like the name Emperor. I like Qin.
Okay, cool.
Emperor Chen, yeah.
So,
Whatever his name is.
whatever his name means. But also, going down a general Chinese name database, finding good-looking ones,
You know,
like you do.
like you do.
I like name generators. What can I say?
They're useful.
So, entering the office, I imagine Duncan gets there first because you were a lot closer because you just left.
What do you look like?
So, what does Duncan
What
look
am
like?
I looking like? Okay, our uniforms are gray. Essentially,
The
so we usually have-
uniforms are gray and black, and it's a dark gray.
So it's just like a jacket with a,
It's
Yes,
a
sure.
jacket with gray pants and black boots.
and then of course the belt with miscellaneous things on it.
While you're on shift, so you've got your railer,
Yeah.
which is a small magnetic pulse pistol, and your baton. You're off shift, so you already would have returned your railer and baton.
Not that I'm unarmed now, but
If anyone asks, you're unarmed.
Yeah.
So, what do you look like?
I look like Jim Brown, the actor.
There we go.
The old football star from the '60s.
He's the fridge, right?
No, this is before that. This is
Before that, Jim Brown.
He's just real muscular.
So we all Google him.
Yeah.
I think I've actually looked at a picture of him
you looked
before.
up a picture of him before. I
Is
figure
it
if
the
I'm
same one
gonna
you
be a
looked
human,
like last time?
yeah,
Okay.
that's the same. I'm just gonna go with the same.
Okay,
Since he's gonna be human again, I'll just keep with the same.
so
So just
big guy.
yeah, tall, muscular, just
You look like him when he was a footballer or
Yeah,
when he
like
was an
football.
actor?
okay. Either one.
Probably when he was an actor, because you're
Oh, yeah.
you're in your like
I'm at
late
31. I'm in 30s.
yeah, you're in your mid 30s.
So it would be right because that was about when he quit.
So,
Football and
it's still when he was football.
Late
Yeah.
football, early acting.
Football shape.
Yeah, early acting.
Football shape.
I don't know. Some of these acting shape ones are pretty intense.
He was in the Dirty Dozen.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And what does Gora look like?
Gora is one of the tallest people on the ship, probably at just over 6 feet.
I thought you were like 6'6".
6'6", yeah, 6'6", yeah, that was-
6'6".
You're my height.
Not-
Yeah,
I'm about
6'6".
more.
Yeah, 6'6", and like I wanted to say 200 something.
You were like 280
Yeah, like
pounds.
280.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Like at 6'6" and about 280.
A brick wall.
Mostly muscle. Very tall in her black and gray outfit, which she augments with the black vest that she always wears whenever she's on shift. Her very little ornamentation on her face aside from like a single like a pair of earrings on her left ear, both of which are like small iron bands that have markings carved into them. And the entire left side of her head is shaved down to the skull, where the right about here it just rests and flops to the right. So she's got the faux hawk. Hair is completely black. Skin is pale.
Undercut.
Is it?
Yeah.
Undercut-
Faux hawk is
undercut's
this.
on both
A
sides.
faux hawk is a mohawk that doesn't shave the sides.
Yeah.
The undercut was on both sides.
No, undercut.
It
is
can be
just,
either.
Undercut is just anything that is cut underneath the top of your hair.
Yeah.
That's why it's undercut.
There's theories that she has some like very mild albinism because she's very pale, not super pale, but the distinguishing characteristic is that her eyes are violet. But her hair is still like jet black. As she walks in.
All right, and as you walk in addition to the standard gym, there is also the captain. She's an older woman, though she doesn't look it. She's 5'0" and very thin, but with a glare that could kill. She dressed very sharply. She's wearing the traditional captain's uniform, which is a white uniform with red rank insignia on it. And pristine boots, just very ironed, crisp look to her, and she's standing at an Addy's position.
So I walk in, and when I see her, I salute and say, "Hey, sweetie." Does she usually not appreciate that?
No, she does not appreciate that.
Gotta get on all the
Dora very much sort of stand attention and salute Captain.
How has Duncan not been fired yet?
There are 6 security officers.
That's how he hasn't been fired. The same reason why Gallagher hasn't been fired. He's the only astrophysicist.
No, the same reason Win Reddick hasn't been fired.
That too.
Gallagher's good at his job.
Gallagher's good at his job.
Gallagher's good at his job. He's just an asshole.
Win is good at his job when he does it, which is when it's necessary. All right. So, it's not official for everyone to know yet, but we've seen a planet. We'll be there in about 2 days. There's something odd about this planet. I need a standard security division to accompany a small crew on a shuttle down to the planet, investigate the surface. Just need to make sure that nothing out of the ordinary happens. You will be issued military-grade provisions for this assignment.
Okay. Just the two of us?
Just the 2 of you. Presumably, it's a rock.
There shouldn't be any need for us yet.
Ocard seems very concerned about something to do with the physics of this planet, but, to be honest, science is an ever-evolving subject, and I don't pay too much stock in that we understand it completely. We're sending an astrophysicist down. I'm sure he'll let you know if anything is amiss.
The astrophysicist?
Pardon?
The astrophysicist?
Yes, the astrophysicist. Crew, there's 753 people on this ship, and only about 500 of them are of working age. So, there's not a crew of astrophysicists.
There's one astrophysicist.
Also of relevance, he would gladly communicate with the rest of the fleet, but because of the speed you're traveling, it takes approximately a week to get a message back to the fleet and then back up here.
Yeah.
Because when you're traveling at a tenth the speed of light, and you are about a month ahead of the rest of the fleet.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yes, sounds good. We'll be ready.
This will be the first excursion onto a, well, I don't believe it's classified as a planet-sized object. Something about dwarf planets and planetoids and more jargon. Needless to say, it's larger than any of the other things we've encountered, and is the first thing that we can land a shuttle on properly that we've encountered since leaving the solar system.
Who's flying? Because I don't think any of us have really had to fly shuttle in a while.
No. Win Reddick.
Win is flying.
He's a decent pilot. On the occasions where you have to fly somebody out to gather bits of comet and mineral supplies, that he flies the shuttle because he's the geologist, and he, like I said, he's not bad at his job. He's bad at work ethic.
We're gonna get stranded on that planet when he dies.
It's okay. We have a
I got a 1% chance.
1% chance of getting the
Yep.
So with all our skills combined, we'll have
1%
a negative
chance.
5% chance. Wait.
If we all work together, we get 2 bonus die, which still means one of them has to be a 0. And the other has to be a 1.
Yeah. All right. In preparation, I do want to make sure that you get plenty of rest before, so you will be granted leave of your shifts tomorrow. I expect you to be here
Fine.
training and preparing and going over routine environmental procedures. You will be wearing enviro suits for obvious reasons. We don't know what the atmosphere is comprised of at this moment, but it's surely nothing healthy.
Okay.
I'll bring relevant equipment.
All right. I expect to see you back here tomorrow, using your time off to good effect.
Question. Does the Selkie use centrifugal force to generate gravity?
Most likely.
Okay, so it's like drill bitting through space.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Which gets really weird with the lifts when you have to go to the opposite side of the ship.
Yeah, because there's a bit of no gravity in the middle of the ship.
Well, there's a bit of getting really dizzy in the middle of the ship. But
You get really dizzy in 0 gravity.
for the most part, most of the stuff is done in the bottom end of the ship at the moment because you don't have enough people to fill up the rest of the ship.
Yeah.
All right. The captain stands at attention and, of course, expects the 2 of you to do the same and salute.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that.
And then she nods and leaves. Jim looks at the 2 of you. All right. I'll need you to practice with the military-grade gear. That means you get these, he says, pulling out 2 access cards for the lockers.
Okay.
Practice with the rail packs. Practice in the range, he says, looking at Gora very specifically. The rail packs are not to leave the range until you are being escorted with them to the shuttle bay.
I never said that practice was a rail outside of the range.
No one.
Nothing else.
I'm aware.
So far.
But I'm aware of what you have in your room.
In my room.
Yeah.
It's in my boot right now.
I'm talking about the targets.
I mean, that's more for physical training.
Anyway.
Look, officially I don't know any of this stuff, so
I mean,
just don't be stupid.
I mean, the cameras in my room haven't worked in a while, but that wasn't my doing.
Yeah. You know I could fix those if I needed to.
You could, but Faust took them down for a reason, so.
Mm-hmm. Which is a good reason to fix them. Look, just don't give me a reason, okay?
That's fair.
Alright. Why do I have the crazies in the security division? Makes perfect sense.
Because I do my job.
Yeah.
What's crazy about me?
Alright. Back as you were. You got today's shifts. Don't drink more than you can handle. If that exists.
I skip out the door.
I was about to say.
just to make him keep him on edge.
Alright.
She salutes and heads out.
So, next, we're going to go to the medical bay. You are sitting going over some notes. You've recently had an appointment with a young woman who is getting a fairly common problem of the sort of emptiness of space and feeling like you're trapped and all alone and all that sort of stuff. It's very common. It's the #1 thing you deal with.
Yeah, pretty much.
Typically speaking, you've just had her reassigned so she can't see windows. You can't look out into space and go through more of the populated areas of the ship. She'll be okay in a couple weeks. She just has to cope.
I imagine there's very few people who, can really take those kinds of rooms.
Yeah, you.
Imagine being confined to a square kilometer for your entire life. Less than a square kilometer.
Yeah. And people who have regular access to viewports and see the giant blackness of space have a higher rate of going insane than people who don't. So you
What are
actually
talking about? I stare into space all the time.
exactly.
That's why
So
you
you
are.
so you have to keep
Yes, and I have note files on all of you, so...
yeah. So anyway,
Why are you twirling that pen, Galadier? What pen?
you've especially got one for Galadier because he's an off shipper. He comes from specifically Galadier would come from the ship with the highest amount of university, which is the ISS Leviathan.
Miskatonic, you on the Leviathan.
So
Go Squids.
yes, the Leviathan of all the ships is the largest and has the highest population,
Which explains why it has the most university.
which is why it has the university. The Triton is the head ship. The Kraken and the Rahab are the only ships that are actually armed with exterior weapons. Not that they have ever been used, but just in case. The Zhuan Wu has extra storage for minerals, gas, and like in case of a shortage at any point. Everyone can receive stuff for it. And then the ISS Kelpie is a small ship that can transport between the larger fleet. And then the Selkie, which you're on, is, of course, up front.
I joked about Miskatonic U, but what's the name of the university at the Leviathan?
It's just called the University.
Okay.
When there's only one,
THE.
yeah, capital T.
Yeah, I mean, some humans like to name things, even if there's only one of them.
Oh, they do. But the totalitarian government in the main fleet does not like creativity, and they stifle it fairly harshly. The ship gets to be a bit of an exception because it takes a week to get messages to and from this ship.
So good luck trying to stifle creativity on stuff.
Yeah.
We're
Alright.
special.
Yes, you are special. So anyway, you're in your office and in through one of the doors. What do you look like while you're sitting in this? What does your office look like? How do you decorate it? What kind of counselor are you? Do you have a couch?
Yeah, like it's fairly neutral in most respects. Like, for the most part, everything is pretty minimalistic. The walls are very much designed to be fairly homely, so there's, like it's painted in nice, earthy colors. There's a little bit of wood paneling, not for the sake of being gaudy, but just for the sake of, trying to be a bit more of a comforting environment. There's, there's a couch, there's some chairs, there's a desk that doesn't really have a whole lot on it. Really, the biggest thing is that there is, like, the desk, and then behind it there are just a ton of bookshelves.
I like the idea that your office was designed by people who are from Earth, who were on Earth at the time when it was designed, and so used wood paneling as a calming method. But the further and further we get away from space, the less connected we are to the idea of wood paneling at all. So it just becomes
really
more and
odd.
more unsettling.
Yep.
It's supposed to be calming. It's not. It's weird.
I've never seen a tree before. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, fairly basic designs overall. And then Yitarasu himself, he is very tall. So, he's like 6'6", 6'7", roughly. He very much has sort of this, he looks very unimposing, though. Like, he has, a fairly regular, like, short dark hair, pretty regular, slightly Asian features, but they've, kind of been diluted a little bit. And
a lot of the ship is half Asian, half Western European.
pretty
Because
much.
that was most of the boarding people, and people tend to mix and mingle.
Yeah. So, same sort of deal there. Looks fairly unremarkable. If he just was done with a counseling session, then he'd probably have a pretty simple, like, sort of very earthy brown color suit. Just, again,
Warm
generally-
colors, not harsh black and white.
Yeah, trying to have a level of professionalism without having a stifling amount of, you know, that
Yeah.
professionalism, that sort of formality.
Bruce Banner, Tony Stark.
Not inaccurate.
Not at all. So through the door,
Very gentle giant sort of appearance.
through the door walks your boss, the head of medical activities on the ship. He is, as he typically looks, not too tall, athletic build, slim, fine, chiseled features, jet black hair that pulls back, and he has red eyes, which is a bit odd. You're not sure if he's got some sort of medical thing or if he just wears colored contacts. But you've only ever seen that he has red eyes. He also has he wears, as opposed to most of the medical staff, which wears white, he has a jet black coat on, with red bands, of course, that indicate rank. And he has a small bag latched at his side full of generic surgeon's tools.
Ah, Dr. Letter.
Yes. Blood,
What's his name?
Tarn Bloodletter.
I call him Dr. Letter.
I knew Tarn was going to be here.
So, what brings you around?
Oh, I'm just here to explain a new assignment that you're going to have.
Uh-oh.
You see, we are going to be making planetfall in a couple of days. They're going to be sending a shuttle down. And as you may remember in your initial studyings of psychology, any time where there is a chance of encounters with an alien species, there must always be a counselor present.
Mediation, keeping people sane.
Also communicating with individuals whom we don't understand the language of, people who are more empathic, that sort of thing. So, you will of course be required to go down on this mission.
Makes sense, I suppose. Wait,
Yes.
There's always a security division. Who is it?
Oh, take your guess.
Please tell me. Please tell me. It's not Gora and Duncan.
Who do you think they're going to send with you?
Gora and Duncan.
Of course. Why else would you be here?
Of course.
Now, to clarify, they're certainly not sending Li Zhao. He's in his 60s. They're not sending Maureen O'Card because, as good as she is at talking people down, she's 4'10". She's not really good at holding a railgun. So your only other options were Lynn Reddig, who is...
Dead.
No, Lou Reddig is dead.
Oh, sorry.
Lynn Reddig, his daughter, is very serious, but has a propensity to get drunk. And so, not her. And then Reese Scott is the only reasonable alternative. He's large, quiet, observant.
Which would have been nice.
Which would have been nice. But no.
No, you get those two.
Anyway, so,
Right.
yes.
Any particular reason? Just regular resource gathering, or?
Well, there's something unique about this planet.
Hmm.
There's, among other things, interesting scientific factors about it. The planet doesn't move, has no inertia, that sort of thing.
That's not how that works.
Not that people understand these days, at least.
I mean, I don't think people would really understand that at any point.
Regardless, you will be taking Gallaudet with you. You'll have to
Alright.
keep him sane.
So I have to make him sane, then keep him sane. But
My sanity's at 55. Thank you very much.
Let me explain something to you. You're going down to a planet which defies the very laws of physics itself as humans understand them. You are going to have to keep him sane.
right.
Of course, I imagine they're going to send down an arborist. I'm not sure who yet, but I imagine that wonderful young woman, Sandra.
Makes sense.
The other two don't make a whole lot of sense to send down.
Who are the other two?
Well, I mean, they're not going to send down the head arborist, Scott Thrush, but he's insane.
Oh,
He's
okay.
very good at his job, but he is severe OCD. You don't know that he could function outside of like a structured workplace.
Mhm.
Aside from that, there's Amy Wen. You don't see her basically ever. She's very nice, very sane, sweet little old lady. And Kyle Rutt, who's very intelligent when she's motivated.
Mhm.
She mostly uses her intelligence to get out of working.
Yeah.
Her and Win Reddick are two peas in a pod. And so, I expect to hear interesting things about this place. I would love to get out myself, but of course, I'll be needed up here just in case.
Yes, just in case you need to use 500-year-old surgery tools on someone.
Oh, come. There's something intimate about them, he says as he pulls the case from his side and pulls out a solid silver scalpel.
But I'm just saying that we're living in the 24th century right now, and I think you might be living in the 18th.
Have I ever lost a patient?
Yes.
Has he?
No.
There are 2 deaths in the last
When
few
did-
Not
they
that.
didn't-
I was about to say, they were dead before they got there.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, they did not make
technically
the
lost.
surgery.
I mean, I guess it works.
Exactly. He doesn't typically use them. He just likes to carry them with him.
Like a blanket.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes. Could you put those away? I don't want any patients walking in and seeing you with all of your little knives.
oh dear.
I'm just saying, you could really work on your bedside manner.
Would you prefer I bring in the bottles?
Where do I need to report for this mission?
I'm sure the captain will come down to let you know at some point in the future. We'll be there in 2 days. You'll have time to prep yourself.
Makes sense.
You will also have time to cancel your appointments.
Right.
Anyway,
Oh, scheduling. What a joy it is. He starts flipping through tons of messy paperwork.
yes. Have fun. But not too much fun. That's a lie. Have all the fun you want. He turns and leaves.
This whole ship has gone insane.
All right. And let us join with our good friend Sandra. You're at work.
Mhm.
You're tending to some strawberry plants right now.
Right. Do you have, yeah.
And what do you look like?
Sandra is the absolute tallest of everyone at 5'2".
Yes.
She has a little bit of a broader build, long, like waist length, chestnut brown hair with green eyes. And is there like a uniform she needs to wear?
No.
Okay, then she is wearing like a colorful sweatshirt with like brightly colored flowers on it. And jeans and boots and dresses for comfort.
Yep. Probably have work gloves on at the moment.
Yes. And a flower clip in her hair.
Always. Always flowers.
Yes.
Um, as you are working, the door chimes to the. I just realized I don't know what you call a place that is it an arbory, arboreum?
Arboreum.
Arboreum? Okay.
Arboreum.
Arboreum.
Anyway,
I believe there's a T in there.
No, there's no C.
there's definitely not a T in it.
Arboreum. Arboreum or arboreum, I guess.
Oh no, there is a T. Arboretum.
I'm pretty sure it's Arboretum.
Okay. So yes, and there's a chime as the arboretum doors open, and in walks Captain Chinjo.
She'll stand up.
Stand up. Everyone else does as well, except for Scott, who is busily, absolutely involved with taking a cutting from a plant. But the captain knows his predilections and generally allows him such because of how well he does his job. At ease. I'm here for you, Miss Rosen.
Yes, what can I do for you?
We're going to step into Scott's office.
Okay.
She pulls you aside. You step into Scott's office. It is A-N. It's S-A-N-D-R-A.
Sorry. I was thinking Owen.
It's the office is immaculately kept, and you hate going in here because you know if you touch or breathe on anything, Scott will know and be annoyed.
Very carefully. Standing in the center of the office, trying not to touch or make eye contact with anything in there.
Not even the captain touches anything in here. She just stands next to you. We found a planet. We're going to be making planetfall in 2 days.
Oh, what sort of planet?
We're not sure. It's covered with a thick gas over top. We can't see the core of it, but there's always, of course, the potential for finding life.
So, does it appear to have its own atmosphere?
There's definitely an atmosphere. Not one that seems suitable for human usage, but there could be all sorts of strange other life forms. We don't like to limit ourselves in that way. I need someone experienced in biology.
Okay.
I will need you to report to the security division. I want you to go through a basic course in self-defense tomorrow. Understood?
Right. I'm not the best at that.
You don't need to be the best, you just need to know how to handle yourself if something happens. Basic survival skills.
Okay.
Don't worry, Gora and Duncan will be with you.
Do I know of these people?
You know Duncan. He's a nice guy, but he enjoys being at Grandpa's bar a little more than he might be reasonable. You've seen Gora. It's real easy to see her, but you don't know anything about her.
Okay.
Not a lot of people do.
Am I to assume they're going down the planet as well?
Yes, they'll be your escort. Make sure nothing bad happens.
Okay.
I will want you to know you'll be traveling with the physicist Galadir.
Does she know?
He's one of the only other scientists on the ship. You've met him a couple times, especially if you with your fascination in astronomy, because his office has the best view of the stars.
Okay.
According to my characteristics, he's relatively handsome, lean, and an asshole.
She doesn't like the church.
But he's mostly an asshole. He's only mostly an asshole to people who don't understand what he's saying. So
You're actually one. You're pretty smart. You can probably keep up. At the very least, you can keep up with. You understand what he's getting at, even if you can't understand the exacts of it. What's your skill in astronomy? What's your skill in astronomy?
Astronomy 60.
Yeah, so you don't know the physics part as well as you could, but you know how planets move.
Hilariously, with intelligence of 70 and an education of 77, she might not know any of the real details of what he's talking about, but she can at least understand the terms.
That's not how that works.
you have to have in order to understand how it works, you have to have points in the physics.
That's what I mean. She doesn't understand any of how it works, but she can at least understand from a high school education level of.
The problem is, you'd be surprised how little a high school education level matters when it comes to discussing intense astrophysics.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will warn you, the planet doesn't move. It seems to have gotten the physicist and Brian O'Card rather caught up.
I see why. It's odd.
Regardless, it'll be good to have somebody else there with a background in the scientific knowledge. Finish your shift here. Tomorrow, report to the security office. I'll run you through a basic environmental training course.
What time tomorrow?
Start of shift as normal.
Okay.
Good day. She stands at attention for a second, expecting you to salute.
She will.
She turns and walks out.
She very carefully walks out.
Right.
She puts
Slam
her
the door.
gloves back on before she even touches the doorknob.
Probably don't want your gloves on because your gloves have been in dirt.
Oh, never mind. She will actually, like, because her sweatshirt's kind of like floppy, she will like grab like the sweatshirt and like clean off the doorknob as she is closing it.
All right. And then finally, do you work out of your home or do you write where
Mostly at home.
mostly at home?
Yes.
All right. There's a chime at your door. What does your home look like? Living as a single person in a home, you would have a basically studio style apartment.
Right. It's mostly tidy around most areas, but you can tell where he does most of his writing because there's a bunch of paperwork in like one corner where the desk is and everything around. It's pretty much the mess is like all around there. Lots of books, lots of paper.
All right. And what do you look like?
Cal was I think it was average. Average size. He's definitely not the strongest person here. He's wearing black dress-like pants, like white a gray shirt with a gray button-up shirt with thin white lines going down it, and he's got a thin like a very light like a jacket on right now. He has black hair, black short hair, and has glasses.
Okay. There's a chime at your door.
Okay. He'll get up and ask, yes, who is it?
Brian O'Card.
He opens it.
You can just tell it to open.
Okay. Oh, all right.
It's in the future.
Oh, okay.
It's like a smart home, but without Alexa.
A smarter home.
All right. Yeah. All right. Door open.
Brian walks in. How you doing, Kyle?
All right.
How's work on that latest book?
Saying, all right. What can I do for you?
Well, I've got a bit of an unusual request for you. Now, I know that technically you're in the unemployed, he says with heavy air quotes, section, so I can't actually make you do things, but I would like to ask a favor of you.
Okay.
There's a rather interesting planet that we've come upon. It defies everything that we know about modern physics, and is an enigma in itself, and is also the first, well, not technically a planet, but the first planetoid that we've come across in our travels. And I would like an opportunity for you to see it, lay eyes on it, and write about it. I think it would be a big morale boost to all the people around here to read about the experiences from somebody who was there firsthand.
What's so special about this planet?
Well,
So planetoid. you could say.
like I said, first of all, it's the first thing we've come across that you can actually land a shuttle on.
Yeah, yeah.
That in itself. But the planet doesn't move. Disobeys the very fundamental nature that we know, one of Newton's laws of inertia. It's as though it was anchored in the universe itself.
That is very strange.
Exactly. And, as far as we are able to find out, completely harmless. But, my way with words isn't the same as yours. If I were to go down and say, yes, we found a planet, there were rocks. Get my drift.
Yes, I do believe I understand.
Look, the people of the Selkie don't want a boring old report. I'll get one of those prepped up to send back to Triton, and I'm sure they'll disperse it in a very melancholy manner. What I want is a story. Something that we can tell people. Look what we found. Look at this. You up for it?
Well, it does sound interesting. But I'm not going alone, am I?
Oh, goodness, no. We'll have two of our best security to
Yeah, kick him out the airlock.
You're right about it, author.
Well, you'll go along with the whole scientific team and their two security escorts. There's almost no chance of there being any life on there, and if there is, let's be honest, it's going to be some sort of proto-bacteria. Single-cell organisms. You'll be in a full environmental suit. You'll have a pilot, geologist, physicist, biologist, a couple security, and the counselor.
And a rock monster.
No, the planet is a rock monster.
That's what we're hoping for. Corin, I want to see some action.
Wrong.
So it
No, actually, it wasn't Untethered, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
We
was.
met the rock lobster.
So it
It was in one of the lost. I'm afraid that was in one of the lost episodes when we ran the module. The head of Vecna and encountered the rock lobster. I apologize to everybody who missed it. It was glorious.
It was amazing. You
Um,
should have been there.
One of the legendary lost episodes of Untethered. There's only been like 15 of them.
yeah, technical problems. What can I
It's
say?
okay, you guys don't miss it.
I mean, secrets of the universe beyond human comprehension.
That's
That's what
this
Gallagher,
segment.
That's what Gallagher is here for.
Exactly. Like, sometimes those things just don't get recorded.
So, I'll need you tomorrow to report to the security division. You're going to have a briefing on how to work an environmental suit, basic things like that.
Yes, that would be useful to know.
Don't worry, we'll make sure you've got everything you need to be safe. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. I look forward to seeing what you come up with.
I hope you'll enjoy it.
Sure I will. And he turns and walks out.
Okay.
All right. Later that day, you do get a message on your comm saying that you will have to report to security from the captain saying you'll have to report to security for a briefing on how to operate environmental suit, etc., etc.
I look at the briefing. I look at my journal. I put it back down and continue writing.
And later that day, Brian walks up to your office as right after you finished another one of your sessions and knocks on the door. You, of course, have one of the old-fashioned wooden doors.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and...
Which is, again, more unsettling than anything else because it's the only one in the ship.
I imagine...
My room has wood paneling, but the door is normal. The door is a normal door.
But is the door wood panel?
No, it's not wood paneled because it wouldn't close.
Yeah.
No,
It's hard to panel a door that slides.
Not necessarily.
You can depends on how thin the
Just
panel
inlay.
is.
Yeah.
But either way, no, my door is normal. My room is weird, but my door is normal.
Didn't mean to get that replaced.
What about the door frame?
I also have candles in my room, and I'm probably the only person on the ship that has candles.
You're not even supposed to have candles because
Yeah.
fire is sort of
It's not a
on
good
the
thing.
down low
Yeah.
because it messes with the environment.
Nice.
So you just sort of don't tell anyone.
Yeah,
So you
no.
can't sit by-
And not only do I have candles, they're weird candles. They're black candles.
So you hear a rap at your door.
If I'm just finishing up, I'll just go ahead and open it up.
Hey, it's Brian O'Card, one of the most sane people on the ship. Hey, how's it going? May I? He says, no motioning in.
Of course.
He steps in and flops down on the couch.
I like how specifically for Zach's character you refer to people by how sane they are.
I mean, it's
Yes.
very relevant to me.
Yeah, that's his character advantage. He gets to know how sane people are.
What is your sanity level? In curiosity.
My sanity, I believe it's 75. Yeah, 75.
Not the highest in the party.
I hate that I have one of the lowest powers for who my character is.
But yeah.
It's easy to
So,
say for
I
you.
guess you're here, all the formalities about that mission or whatever.
He looks at you kind of funny. How do you know about that?
Dr. Letter told me about it.
How does he know about that?
I would assume the captain told him about... You didn't tell him about it?
No. The captain was going to have me go tell the medical personnel.
Roll sanity roll.
Yeah, go make a sanity roll.
Wait, seriously?
Tarn knows things that he shouldn't know.
Sometimes also worth noting. Sometimes you can lose sanity even on a successful roll.
It's probably not one of those though.
63? That's below my sanity.
That's successful.
Okay. Tarn's weird. He must have figured it out somehow.
It's not the first time this has happened. Probably snooping around how he shouldn't be. I don't know.
I don't know a lot about Tarn aside from the fact that he does good work.
All I know is the fact that whenever there's a need for surgery, he gets it done. And thank goodness there are nurses so that people don't have to deal directly with him.
I mean, he's not rude. He's just a bit unsettling.
He doesn't have a very good bedside manner, honestly.
No, not really.
Mm.
Well, regardless, so that I can have the formal briefing. We're making Planetfall in a couple of days. I need you to be there. I need you to report to security tomorrow to have a briefing on how to work the environmental suit, basic self-defense, that sort of thing. All good?
Makes sense.
Right. It'll be you. There'll be 2 security officers.
And, of course, are they Goran Duncan?
Yes.
I'm just going to assume that Dr. Letter was messing with me.
And we'll also be sending down one of the botanists. It'll be Sandra. She seemed most apt for the task.
And you're sending, of course,
Well,
the
the other,
astrophysicist.
the physicist and the geologist.
I see.
Look,
You may want to see if there's any leak of information here, because that's... Well, I've already heard all of that. Not the training session thing, at the very least, but...
I'll be curious to look into that. He looks out. I don't know what to think about Tarn, honestly. But
Well,
he comes from one of the other ships. With
I made my own analysis, but medical professionalism.
Did Tarn come over with me?
no,
Okay.
he came over just before you.
Okay. Did he come from the Leviathan then?
You're not sure.
Okay.
You don't know what ship he came from.
Do I know?
Nope.
Not in this file.
Is he supposed to be here?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, no.
I mean, no, but officially yes, but
Okay.
actually no. But the only two people who know that are the two characters who are awakened, which are
Yeah.
Kyle and Gora.
Card's not awakened yet?
This is Brian O'Card. This is
Card's
yes, this is the card you met. This is his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Card's apparently a teenager right now. In this.
Yeah.
world.
All right. Well, looks like it's about end of your shift, so have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Gonna be a long day.
Yes.
Oh, question for the storyteller. Does Gora have Faust's diamond?
Yes.
Okay.
Gora was given one.
Oh, yeah, she was. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I have a pocket watch with a red gem in it.
Yes.
Yes, and Sandra has her ring.
Though mine doesn't do anything apparently. So.
Well, nothing that you know about
I
yet.
don't know about it. But, yeah.
It doesn't do anything
Yeah.
yet.
Does Sandra know her ring can do stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Does Gora know if Etsuo is awakened or not?
You don't know.
Okay.
You also don't interact. Etsuo interacts with the exact opposite kind of crowd that you do.
Yeah, okay. So I don't run into Etsuo a lot.
He's
Kyle
very
Etsuo?
social.
What's the full name?
Hmm?
Character's name?
I just put Kyle.
Kyle.
Kyle, some last name.
Etsuo is Etsuo a card.
Okay.
That's card.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. I was trying to figure out who Etsuo was.
Etsuo card.
All right. Any of you have anything particular to do with your evenings?
Probably physical training for most of the afternoon.
Physical training,
She'll go hang out at the.
hang out at the Rogue,
Yeah.
the black market bar that is totally endorsed by everybody on the ship, but is not officially endorsed because you're not supposed to have a bar on these ships.
I feel like she probably helps some other cooks sometimes.
Okay.
Preparing a briefing for the people. Preparing a briefing and trying to make it as simple as possible for the non-physicists.
You always have trouble with that. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, right, they don't understand the gravitational concept innately. I'll have to explain it to them. Duncan?
Ship spinny, that make gravity. Planet no spinny, should be no gravity.
I gotta fire off a few rounds at the
Shooting
range, but
range.
not taking it real seriously. I'm just playing with the guns. I'm just
Having a good old
I'm
time.
having a good old time.
Gora's gonna get some regular practice in tomorrow, presumably.
No,
after the
I'll,
security
that'll be a little more serious, but
Yeah, right now, you
I'm
got the
I'm
card
gonna-
right now. You can.
I'm just gonna go ahead and blast off.
You don't get to fire these things all that often.
That's right.
Yee.
It's like Christmas morning. I probably going back to just figuring out all the scheduling, people I have to reschedule for things.
Yeah, resetting your next 2 days. Be like, very professional.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
you, Kyle?
Resetting his workspace, tidying up, be prepared for the upcoming writing. Is there anywhere I could go to see the coming planets? Can it be seen from where I am?
You probably have to go to the science lab or the bridge are the only two good. The science lab and the bridge are gonna be the best viewpoints on the planet,
Whatever.
and you're not allowed on the bridge. Science lab, you're technically not allowed in, but as long as you don't know things stupid, no one really minds. Unless Gallagher minds.
Gallagher's busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gallagher does mind, but not you.
All right. So you go up to the science lab.
Yeah.
Gallagher's there. He's just busy typing.
It's after clock, so when Reddig is gone.
Yeah, Gallagher's the only person in there typing.
There's normally only two people here. So Gallagher is sitting at a desk typing. You're not sure if he knows you're there, but he's certainly not reacting to you. But you could even go look over his shoulder and you can see he's writing a report about this planet.
If you look over his shoulder, you see he's writing a report with his left hand on the computer and writing in a journal with his right hand in Latin.
You're a very good writer.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
I'll leave him to his work.
Leave him to it.
If I'm not going to get in trouble for this, I'm just going to
Yeah.
leave him. And I'm gonna go.
That was his equivalent of sure. That basically means you're allowed to be here, right? That's totally what that meant.
I'm not allowed to be here. Right
Exactly.
We'll sort of look up. You're wanting to get a closer view of the extended radar with the visualization is on that monitor over there.
Ooh, thank you.
You can go over and look at it. It's already focused on the planet. Pretty easy given the planet doesn't move. You don't have to follow it. The planet has a interesting color. It's like a swirl of emerald green and like a bronze gold in the atmosphere, and you can see they're completely static. It looks like pictures you've seen of old planets from the old solar system, like Neptune and Jupiter, with like the storms and the swirls. But just like those pictures, it's completely static, and it's a shimmering gold and green. It's very pretty to look at. But it looks like you're looking at a still image.
All right. You're gonna take note of all of that, and I think that's pretty much everything I can do.
Okay.
So.
You get the basic stats of it. You just got the size and the estimated density, though it's really hard to get the estimated density off of it because it's not exerting any force on anything and nothing is being attracted to it and it's not being moved, so you can't get a good estimate of the density. So all the guesses are based off of the atmosphere that's there.
I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get that information later.
Yeah, presumably when you're on the planet, you'll be able to figure these things out. But
I wanted to get a good look at it before.
We had like a mechanical keyboard here, so I can make sound effects.
all right,
Is it a mechanical keyboard or a GUI keyboard? It's a GUI, but let's see.
It's adorable. That's what it is.
oh, we can get the mechanical keyboard that stopped working from the other computer for him.
I don't know where it's.
It's off the side of the group. Anyway, we're about it later. So it is. So night goes by, morning comes. You all report to the security office at 8 in the morning. Now the two security officers. What time do you get to the security office?
She's probably there at like 6:30.
So you've been there and you've been playing around with these guns. What time do you get there? You weren't given a specific time, just told to be there at some point.
I don't know. I'll be there eventually.
All right.
9:46.
It was in my bag, so it should have been off.
Good. So you all get to the security office. What times do you get there? You were told to be there at 8 o'clock.
I'm there right at 8.
Exactly on time.
Yeah.
What about you, Yi?
Probably like 7:50.
Okay, 10 minutes early.
7:45, 7:50.
Sandra's exactly on time.
Exactly on time.
A few minutes early.
A few minutes early. Okay.
Make
So,
sure.
when everyone's waiting out in the lobby of the security office, and Gora walks in, okay, good. Yeah, there's like this ever so faint perceptible hitch in her step as she realizes who's gathered here. Because she's awakened.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, also,
Can I notice
Kyle,
this?
you're awakened.
Okay.
You know exactly who these people are, even if you don't know who they are.
Okay.
Psychoanalysis?
Sure, roll me psychoanalysis.
You didn't really know Sandra though. On the
No,
other-
he didn't know Sandra
Like,
well,
I mean,
but
he saw her before they went into the pool, but he didn't know
Um,
her well. From
89 out of 95.
Spot hidden. To see if I noticed the slightly.
spot hidden is something that when you're looking for it.
Yeah,
This is more passive.
psychology.
Sure, do you have psychology?
Yeah, I mean I don't have any points in it.
Sure.
I got 10% on it.
Sure.
I have a 10% chance of noticing things. About
Noticing
other people.
quirks in behavior.
Yeah.
Because the immediate thought that ran through her head was, wait a minute. Oh no.
I got 11.
I got 89 out
I-
of 95
I
for
failed,
psychoanalysis.
but I rolled an 11 out of 10%.
You're accustomed to Gora, being very straightforward and matter of fact, and nothing really pauses her, and she just paused momentarily, but
At the same time, I also am very keen on kind of paranoid.
yeah.
So
So something
Alright.
triggered a paranoid reaction in her, as far as you can tell. You're
taking
not
a
sure what it
mental
would be.
note of that.
And she
Yeah,
like,
no, he has a little.
like
he has a little tablet,
she's
yeah.
walking,
Sounds
and her
little
stride
probably
like
like
interrupts
look
for a
up
second,
on the shoulder,
and then she keeps walking.
Okay, I noticed a similar
he's
thing
typing up
in,
the report still
about the planet.
about the planet.
I don't know.
observation
How
with
does
Kyle.
Kyle
He's
have
not
any
writing in his
reaction to
journal
seeing?
because when he's standing, he has to be holding the tablet. So he's just like,
He kind of just like just
So the
takes
planet
a
has
deep
no
breath
inertia.
in
Correct.
unintentionally, and then
no inertia whatsoever. Shouldn't be where it
That's pretty
is.
much
It
only
couldn't have been
indication.
there.
Okay.
But it still maintains it.
That I would
It still
probably
maintains
chalk
some
up to
sort of-
more nervousness,
Some
though.
sort
Yeah.
of gravity and some sort of
Because
atmosphere.
there's no real
somehow.
reason that I have a.
Yes.
There's no real reason that I know you by name,
Yes, it is.
other than
sent-
you're
sent me-
possibly a pretty pleasant individual. But you know,
Didn't think that was how physics worked.
It's not,
So,
but it is.
so after she
It's
walks in
not
and
that
sees
it's
everyone,
working with the
has a
planet.
slight hitch.
Correct.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I can see that Duncan isn't here yet, but he already knows what he's doing,
Yeah.
so we'll just get started.
Well, Jim will be running the official training.
Yeah.
So you're free to kind of introduce yourselves, and because you know that you'll be going down as a team.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, the GM is going to conveniently use the restroom.
Jim's going to be running the actual training for all of you, teaching you how to get used to your enviro suits.
I've used all of your.
Duncan's already used to it. The two of us do occasional spacewalks, and we have to check the outside, so we're a little more used to the enviro suits already. But we'll be doing basic enviro suit training and basic self-defense training just in case. I mean, there shouldn't be anything down there that's dangerous, but just in case there is, and she very briefly for like a half-second locks eyes with Kyle as the only other awakened person in the room. But just in case there is, we're going to have everybody as prepared as we can get in a day.
There is a higher chance than not that there is going to be something dangerous down there, considering the fact that it is currently a planetoid that has no motion whatsoever, but still manages to retain some form of gravity and atmosphere. It's
Good to know.
ignoring the rules of physics already. There's no reason to expect it shouldn't be ignoring others.
Good to know. So the defense training might come in handy. So we'll go ahead. You know,
Do you believe it could be a life form or something happening with the planet itself?
No matter what, no matter what, if it is a physical object in space, it should be having inertia of some kind other than the passive inertia of the galaxy and of the universe expanding, which is the only current amount of inertia it has. It shouldn't be able to maintain an atmosphere, but it does. It shouldn't be able to maintain gravity, but the fact that it has an atmosphere means that it is maintaining some amount of gravity. So
It's a
I don't
spaceship.
know what to expect.
Right.
That's why we're going down.
with that in mind, for those of us who don't know each other, we should probably do introductions. My name is Goro Hozuki. I'm one of the two members of your security detail.
I'm Gallaudet Allenai. I'm the astrophysicist on this ship, the only astrophysicist on this ship.
I'm Sandra, sorry, forgetting my last name, Rosin, and I am the arborist.
Yitarasu, ship counselor.
Hi, Doc.
And Kyle, author on the ship. I mean, most of you might have read some of his work. And Duncan will be joining us shortly. Do I know Duncan's last name? Does he have one?
He's just Duncan.
Yes.
Donuts.
Wasn't it Brown?
No, Buick.
Buick.
And
Don't.
Duncan Buick's the other member of your security team. He'll be joining us when he gets here.
Austin, would I have any experience in an exosuit, considering that I came from a different ship?
Yes.
Okay, so
You've worn them before. They're uncomfortable, but they let you breathe.
yeah, that's the important part.
Gora has extraterrestrial survival specifically for the occasional spacewalk she might have to do.
Yeah, you don't have to do it, but
Yeah.
you know. About
This entire time, Gallaudet has been typing on a tablet.
Yeah, Sandra's just been reading everything that he's typing.
at about
She's very interested.
5 minutes after 8, Jim walks in. All right, so I got 6 of you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You only see 5.
Where's Win?
That's a great question.
You want me to go hunt down Lynn?
The geologist?
Yep, he's coming with us. I'm going to make sure to shove his face into some rocks.
Please do so.
For scientific purposes.
Just be gentle with the environmental suit. We don't want to break one. They're expensive,
Also,
and
he's
it's
our
hard to
pilot,
get the
and
resources.
Break anything significant.
Again,
stranded there.
Shove his
Probably
face
a bad
into
idea.
some rocks for scientific purposes.
Just
Not
don't
actually.
strand us on the planet.
Not actually. Point and tell him to look.
We can
Let me
go
rephrase.
to the planet. We can make whatever observations need to be made. We can get back, and hopefully none of us will kill each other in the process. Please.
Well, it's my job to prevent that. So.
Yes.
Anyway. So,
Duncan will probably be here in about 15 minutes.
he'll be here when he shows up. He wasn't given a time. Maybe that's my fault. Regardless, for the rest of you, Duncan and Gora will have the big guns. Duncan and Gora probably won't have to use the big guns. I can't imagine there's anything on that planet smaller than a protobacteria.
Larger than? I
Will
would
they
hope.
be the only ones with actual guns?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
But I will be teaching all of you the basics of hand-to-hand self-defense. Because it's mandatory, not because I expect you'll need it. I'll also teach you how to walk around in a spacesuit. We'll be popping up to the middle deck to have a little bit of fun with the forces that'll be experienced on you while you're in this suit. And it'll be a grand old time. Any questions? Sweet. I'll also be giving all of you a crash course in piloting the shuttle. Just in case.
What?
Okay.
Come on. Step 1, and he begins to walk you through the basics of, this is how you escape a hold. When you're in encounter with danger, run. Don't worry. The 2 security people are there to protect you. If they run ahead, let them. Don't try to do anything stupid and heroic, etc., etc. And then you get put on the environment suits. They're loud. They're uncomfortable. The temperature is perfect inside of them, though, because you get to set your temperature and you can breathe in them.
Do they have built-in built-in interfaces for
Yes.
like tablets and things?
They've got a built-in interface for your personal transmission device, your PTD.
Okay. Do they also have like a carrier or something for tablets for keeping information?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your standard tricorder tablet style thing.
Yeah, on my wrist or on my forearm.
The big thing is they'll mess up your spatial awareness.
As you get to the middle deck, they take you through. Everybody go ahead and roll me Constitution.
45, made it exactly.
Counts!
37 of my 60. It makes sense. She's done this a lot.
70 of my 65.
Fail.
19 out of 45.
13 out of 40.
Nice.
8.
Wow.
2. Everyone but ye is fine.
All of you, it's disorienting as you enter the sort of weird vertigo-inducing no-gravity zone in the middle of the ship. But you're able to stomach, except for Yi. You almost black out, and you're pulled out by Jim. All right. So you're going to have to watch that.
Right.
Don't worry. That's the worst it'll be. There's not a whole... As far as we can tell, this planet, I'm sure you've all been briefed, doesn't have any centripetal force.
Or
So. Yes, I think I can guess what you're writing, bro. Roll me a sanity check.
I don't think you think.
No, but I thought of something. Yeah, you roll me a sanity check as you almost black out.
48.
48. Okay, you maintain your composure and nothing weird happens. Alright, that's the basics of it. And this took you pretty much all afternoon because he was walking you through a lot of steps, and getting these suits on and off is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Now, just so you know, if for some strange reason you find that the atmosphere is not super harmful, but still not breathable, the external layer of the suit is removable, he says, and he's wearing one too. Okay. Nice.
Things.
Yes, things. Very relevant things in the future. Brain. Brain, where were you, Brain?
External portion of the suit.
Yeah, the external removable, he says, as he begins showing you how to remove the external portion of the chute, and then you go down to what basically equates to a sealed diving suit, as opposed to like a full space suit. It's much easier to move in. Most of the weight is in the backpack and the helmet, where you're getting oxygen from, and you're completely covered from the elements, but it's by a thin layer of some sort of poly fabric that protects you from gas contact. It doesn't have to protect you from things like pressure or vacuums or small particles hitting you at high speed. You might be able to get away with wearing this on planet. I'm sure the physicist will be able to tell you once you get down on the conditions. Or the biologist. They'll be able to evaluate, again, once you're in atmosphere. We haven't been able to get enough readings of this atmosphere to know exactly what you'll be encountering. And that about does the briefing. Any questions?
How long is this mission expected to take?
Well, we're supposed to be entering orbit tomorrow morning. Board the shuttle should only be depending on how thick that atmosphere is, we're expecting about a 2-hour descent for the landing and deceleration. Once you're down, I suppose it depends on how interesting it is down there. We'll be in radio contact, and I imagine you'll find some rocks, take some gas samples, and be done with it in an hour or so. If you find anything unique, obviously feel free to stay longer as needed. And then you'll be back up, and I suspect that by the morning after, we'll be sending down our harvesters to get resources and reporting back so that the Kelpie can run ahead and just grab resources to take back to the rest of the fleet.
What time do we need to meet tomorrow?
Well, we're going to be making orbit pretty early in the morning, and I want people down on that planet as soon as it's known that we're at it, so we can have information back as quickly as possible.
I'll rattle off whatever estimated time the will be in orbit is,
Be
because
like,
I would know.
it'll be around 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
4 a.m.?
4 a.m. So I expect 5 a.m. departure.
Which means most of you should be at the shuttle dock by about 4:30.
Okay, I'm not sleeping tonight.
I forgot to mention, Wynn Reddick joined you around 8:30.
Which means when you need to be there at 4.
No, which means that Gora, you're escorting Wynn.
Oh, no, I'm bringing Win when I get there at 3:30.
And Wynn, I'm giving her the override key to your room.
Why bother? She can just break it down.
We don't want to damage ship property.
Ah.
Limited resources.
I mean, it would be a way to wake him up.
I can make a loud noise if I need to.
I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of the idea of her just standing over him until he wakes up on his own.
Yeah,
Water can be very effective.
let's not waste water.
Anyway,
I've also gone sitting on someone.
don't crush the poor man.
Let's say I think I weigh twice in.
Wynn is not a small man, but in a different way. All right. Dismissed. And Jim escorts those of you who are not security personnel to the lobby area of the security office.
I'm heading to my room to
All right.
continue working on my journal.
All right. Where are you heading?
Probably to the road.
To the rogue? Gora?
She's gonna head to her room, get her duffel bag and backpack, pack with whatever she thinks she might need, which is gonna be a lot of this miscellaneous equipment, and get it ready so that when she wakes up at her appointed time, probably 1 in the morning, she can grab the duffel bag and backpack, get dressed, go get Win, and then go to the shuttle.
Also, I'm gonna get in addition to my various scientific analysis instruments, I'm also getting less conventional scientific analysis instruments like a lighter, because it'll be good to know if the atmosphere explodes.
By exploding it?
No, not gonna. You can do test lights.
Yeah,
with
you
small
you can
enclosed
pull
frames.
you can pull a sample of the atmosphere, and you'll have that equipment on the lab.
Yeah, like,
What about you, Kyle?
because I don't want to bring anything back onto the ship where people won't be on suits if I know it's methane. Like, if it's like 100% methane atmosphere.
What time were we done there? The
You're-
training, the basic
The training, probably around 3-ish.
3-ish. Okay.
And then it's an unknown material. Siphon into a jar. Light the inside of the jar. See what happens.
I guess, is there some kind of library on the ship somewhere?
There's a library.
I'll go there. And pretty much look up past discoveries, like past planetoid discoveries that we found, or the ship has found.
This ship has not found any. This is
Yeah,
actually the
okay.
first. This is the biggest discovery the ship has made. But you
Okay,
can you
okay,
can you
okay,
can
so-
look up, other giants, astronomy type discoveries and
Okay.
things like that.
Yeah, I'll spend some time there, and then
You discover they're universally dry because people like Gallaudet write them all.
Oh goodness, no! If that was how it was, the discovery of America would have been written very differently.
I was talking about like astral being discoveries.
Oh, yeah.
and I'll try to go to sleep at a good time to wake up early enough. He tends to stay up late. So.
Yeah, you toss and you turn. What about you, Yi?
Ended up having to probably move some appointments forwards a little bit, and
So you-
basically just trying to
Cram in as much of your stuff that you were going to be doing earlier today and tomorrow into this evening.
Yeah, trying to keep busy, do a couple appointments, do a couple of house calls.
All right. What about you, Duncan?
I swing past the bar again, and then just for a little bit, get something to eat, and then the part of the ship that's shut down. I mean, it's not locked out or anything, is it?
The lifts won't go there, but
But if I can climb through.
you know that if you go into the lift, hit the emergency stop on it, open the top latch, and climb out, you can
and open the doors
manually
and
access
go to
those
different
decks.
places. I figure I will just walk around there for an hour, just up and down the empty
All right.
corridors just to make sure
Cool.
nothing's going on.
Well, let's go to. We're going to go through these events, starting with Gora. So you are in your room, and
Emergency burn kit, medical kit,
when you
first aid kit.
walk in your room, there's somebody there.
Who is it?
It's Card. Etsuo Card. There's a teenager, looks to be he's 15. He's got bright red hair, despite his otherwise slightly Japanese features. You're not sure if he dyes it or if it's because of his father, but it seems weird that he's got that strong of an influence from his mother and that bright red of hair. He's well dressed, very elegant. He's got a small chain with a pendant on it, and a couple rings, and a nice watch. He wears, like his father, he's got rolled up sleeves on a white shirt. His vest, though, instead of being the more practical brown, is a deep green with emerald-looking buttons to it. And he is leaning against the wall. Hey, Gora, how you doing?
Doing all right, so.
Yes, right. So, let's cut to the chase. As far as I can tell, you know who you are.
I'm going to take it the word diamonds means more to you than just a pretty rock.
Ah, but they are a pretty rock, aren't they?
They are.
Prefer emeralds and sapphires, though. A little bit more color for me. As it were, as far as I can tell, you know who you are.
And I think
Kyle
does.
knows who he is.
No one else does.
I don't think the rest do.
No. And I don't know how to fix that. Faust knew how to fix that, and he's not around.
Look, I don't want to appear like I'm making any assumptions, but
Yeah, all of us are gathered together for a mission.
no. It's not just that. There are 6 of us gathered together to go on this mission. 6 of you, as it were. Plus some other guy.
Yeah.
We're going down to a mysterious planet that we've conveniently awoken to in time.
And he's the pilot.
Yes, so I know how to fly that ship. I need you
To get you on board.
to stow me away.
I can do that. I'm going to be there way before anyone else needs to be. Except for I have to drag Wynn with me, so I need to stay out of his sight.
That won't be hard. Just play a YouTube video for him.
Alright.
Wow, YouTube lasted a long time.
Yeah.
Still exists.
Why wouldn't it?
Interspace YouTube.
Now, of course, your YouTube hasn't been updated in like 96 years.
Man,
Well,
did you see
no,
this video
that's the thing.
has 700 views.
Well, no, that's the thing. It updates regularly. It's just that everything that's updating is really old to us,
Yeah,
or to the people that updated it, but it's new to us.
exactly.
We're just like, we're a generation behind on all the YouTube memes.
Anyway, so
Because signals still travel through space. It just takes a while.
signaling
Yeah.
Earth is not practical.
He also degrade, yeah.
Well, no, but we're at a point where we have spaceship travel. I assume signaling back and forth has improved.
Not enough to
There's
send
only so
YouTube
much that it
videos.
physically can.
Well, it takes
Also, when you're traveling at a tenth the speed of light away from something,
Also, because of the way the internet works, you have to make a request and then get it back from the server. So
There's probably internet servers.
Space
Probably internet
technology.
servers on the ships.
yeah, the ship has got internet, and things can be uploaded here, but it's not a. It's mostly archives of old stuff.
Yeah.
So,
It's okay. It takes like 50. It would like at YouTube as it is right now. It would take like 700 lifetimes to watch it all. So
exactly. You get me on the ship, or rather, don't point me out.
I will be there at probably 3:30.
All right, I'll be there bright and early. And obviously, you may not have noticed this. My dad's not awakened, so
Is he untethered?
not at all.
Okay.
So it's gonna be interesting. I'm sure I'll figure out when I get back exactly how to explain to him that I stowed away on the ship. That's a problem for future me, though.
It's a problem for future all of us. 'Cause if it's all of us gathering together, what's down there is probably what's important.
Most likely. So,
Because this is the first time I've seen all of them in one place since I got here.
Yeah.
I need to pour through Faust's notes to see if he had anything on this.
hope so, but I don't think he would. Alright, is there anything else?
He figured a lot out before. Anyway,
Well, I'm gonna go back to the road before I missed.
see you tomorrow morning.
Bright and early.
She walks over to a bookcase and pulls several of Faust's journals off of them and puts them into the duffel bag.
Oh, also relevantly, ambient environment is set to a day-night cycle. So it is actually dark in the morning. All the ambient lights are set to low to help simulate the biological clock that people do have.
She basically, aside from those journals of Faust's that she might need, she tosses in basically all of her emergency equipment, along with Geiger counters,
Yeah.
NVGs, etc.
You do your prepping.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Duncan, you were going through the ships.
Basically everything that I could carry, I'm carrying.
Roll me. What's the perception
Spot
stat?
hidden.
Perception?
I thought there was another one though for like awareness.
For what?
Spot hidden is the only perception skill.
Is it? I don't remember.
Hold on. As I step out of my camera and
There's listen.
Yeah, so spot hidden and listen. Those are the two.
For some reason, I thought there was like an awareness skill. Okay.
It's that's what spot hidden is. Spot hidden is your ability to be aware of things that are not immediately obvious.
All right. Let's go ahead and roll a listen check because it's dark.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why people don't put a lot of points in the spot hidden, but that's also why it starts at 25. Because it seems like it's very situational when it's not.
25.
Of
25.
Yeah.
25, 25?
I think it's,
You didn't put any points into it?
the what? Spot hidden?
No,
Listen.
Listen.
Oh, listen is where did I put listen?
Listen is 25 by default.
Yeah, 25.
You thought you heard something, which is abnormal.
Yes, because it's supposed to be quiet up here.
Yeah. Thought you heard something from one of the rooms.
Just listening more carefully to see if it happens again. Kind of going toward wherever I thought I heard it from.
You don't hear anything, but you reach the door that you thought you heard it from, and it's
Okay.
open,
It's
which is
open?
odd. All these doors are supposed to be sealed, locked, sealed.
Duncan dies before we even get on the ship.
Okay, well, I'm just going to look in.
Doesn't die.
Is he wearing a red shirt?
He gets a brain parasite embedded into his mind.
I'm just gonna look in and see if there's anything walking around. Staying by the door and
There's so the rooms as the threadbare. There's a bed in the corner. There's a foot locker in front of it.
Reavers from Firefly.
This is one of the family rooms, or one of the family apartments.
bigger.
So there's actually there's a living room, there's a couch, a side table, and a TV panel, and then on the side room there's two side rooms with one bed each, and then a second side room with a double bed. Each bed has a foot locker at the base of it, and you notice that the double bed foot locker is not locked. It's the slightest bit ajar.
Also, there are definitely reavers on board the ship. Tarn's here.
So,
Where are the
okay, can I see into the bedrooms?
Pardon?
I have to go. I can't see.
Just that I'm pointing.
Just there.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna go walk in and see and peek into the bedrooms.
Okay.
And see if there's anything just from the doors of the bedroom.
Just from the door of the bedroom. The two children bedrooms are fairly normal, and then the master bedroom, like I said, the foot locker is just
It's just
slightly
a foot locker.
ajar.
Okay.
As if there's something inside waiting to eat you when you
I
open
know,
it.
exactly. I don't know if I want to use a weapon or not. No. I guess I'll just pull my baton out at least.
Roll me sanity.
Sanity?
Yeah.
That's got to be lower than that.
Seeing
well.
Tarn on the planet surface would be a standard
60.
for everyone. But
60
out of 40.
because we know why.
60 out of 40.
Yep.
Was the
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I need dice to.
Play with. You got these two.
yeah, but there are
Nice to
more.
deal damage to people.
Sanity loss typically happens in D6s or D4s.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Right.
or in static numbers.
Right.
You take lose 1 sanity.
1.
There's no... So, you know that some rapscallions will sometimes climb up here and wander the halls, but none of them should have been able to unlock this door.
Right.
There's no power to it, and it would need electricity to it to unlock.
Yeah.
So there's no way that somebody should have been able to get up here and get into this room.
Okay.
Like, this shouldn't be a thing.
I'm going to call Jim.
Okay. You pull out your PTD.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Duncan.
Yeah, I'm upstairs in one of the, where I'm not supposed to be, and there's some other things that aren't supposed to be up here.
What do you mean by other things that aren't supposed to be there? We'll address a second later. Just your information, you're on deck 8.
Deck 8, okay. That's some of them. Okay, I'm on deck 8, and it looks to be like there's been some people up here, or something up here.
What sort of evidence? Something in the halls?
Lockers being opened, the doors unlocked.
How's the door gonna unlock? I'll be right there.
Okay. In the meantime,
Open the footlocker.
I'm gonna open a footlocker because I got nothing else to do.
All right.
Just
Inside, there's a railer.
there is.
There's a gun.
Okay.
It looks familiar. It's got scarlet stains on it.
Oh, okay. Have I used it before?
You dare say you might have.
And how did it get up here?
That's a question.
Because it was supposed to have been locked away or something.
Well, not to mention it should have been cleaned.
It was.
It should. Yeah, roll me sanity check.
Again?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good deal. Same roll. 90.
And then,
90 out of 39. Okay.
you personally cleaned this gun. You take another 3 points of sanity damage.
Okay.
There's no reasonable way for this to be here.
Right.
There's no reasonable way that it would stay stained. There's like a missing gun. First of all, this is an official railer.
Yeah.
This was not some sort of impromptu made thing.
Right. It's supposed to be in the security.
Yeah, it's an official
lockdown
issued
over there.
security lockdown.
Issue. I don't have a bag or anything to put it in. I've got to check it for prints and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess I'll try to take it down to the lab and.
Are you gonna wait for Jim?
I don't know. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna pick it up and there's well, the beds aren't made or anything, right? There's no like pillowcases or anything.
There are your basic blankets, pillowcases.
I'm gonna take a pillowcase off.
Made of
the
that
pillows and
horrendously uncomfortable material that never rots.
yeah, I'm just gonna still pick it up gently with from like 2 fingers wrapped in a pillowcase and just take it with me and head down. I'm gonna call Jim back and tell him I'm coming down with something.
You found something?
Yeah.
Something they dropped off?
Something is just not. It's supposed to be in a lockdown somewhere on level 2. So where's our
Security?
office is, security office.
It's right below center. So it's
Okay.
a 72 deck ship.
Okay.
So it is deck 35.
Okay. I'll ask him to meet me at the lab, and we'll run tests on what this thing is,
Sure.
because it might have some markings on it.
Now, is it in the pillowcase, or are you holding it openly?
I'm just gonna grab it with the pillowcase. I'm not touching anything, and just.
So you're not putting it in the
Yeah.
pillowcase, or
Um,
because you have to climb down to get back to the elevator.
that's true too. Well, I can tuck it. Just. tuck it in my jacket.
Tuck
Put
in
it
your
in
jacket.
the sack. You have a
I could
pillowcase.
just,
It's a
yeah,
sack.
just do that. And then,
Sack it.
Yeah.
Put it in the sack. Put the sack in the jacket.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Get to the
Jacket
lift.
or- Yeah.
Get
Go
up.
back. And try to run, see if we can adjust it for prints and.
All right.
and
So
then- and
you
then
you
do
you
a
meet
blood
you meet up.
test.
Jim is standing there.
Do a blood test on.
What'd you find, Duncan?
I-
You reach into your bag,
yeah.
grab the
and
pillowcase.
Let it out carefully without.
There's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there. Okay. How'd I feel it go away? Okay. Okay, I tell him what I found. And then I put it in. Okay.
Say it in your own words. I want to
Okay,
hear
all right,
exactly
all
how
right,
you
all right.
explain
Okay.
to Jim Way.
Okay. Well, I found one of the rail pistols upstairs in one of the locker boxes at the foot of one of the beds in one of the rooms that was the door was open.
I ran a check. We're not missing any railers.
Okay.
You okay, Duncan?
Okay. So, but I do have the pillowcase, right?
You got the pillowcase.
Okay, turn it inside out, and I'm just gonna start checking it for any the blood evidence or anything like that.
Nothing on it.
So it takes me about an hour or so probably to
Yeah.
go over it.
In the meantime, you get a call, Yi.
All right.
Hey, Yi. It's Jim.
Yeah.
I know it's late. I need you to run a quick evaluation on someone.
Is it? Do I know who this is?
It's Duncan.
Duncan.
Yeah. He reported finding a gun in one of the off-access areas.
And
Well, I've got all my guns accounted for, and he came back with an empty pillowcase. He's trying to scan it for blood. Look, I just need to know if he's okay to go down to surface tomorrow, all right?
I mean, is there a possibility of being able to trade out personnel this late? I'm sure the paperwork would be a nightmare.
Aside from the paperwork being a nightmare, which one do you recommend I send down there? You know my security team.
Who's the one that's the calm, actually sane one?
And the calm.
The 60-year-old.
No, Reese Scott. Reese.
Reese Scott seems at least a decent candidate.
Reese Scott doesn't have the training I need. He's never put an environmental suit on.
Neither have I.
Yeah. And how long did we spend teaching you how to do that?
All day.
Point.
Look, I'm not saying that the things that are full of arcane ways to be used, but they're not exactly a zip-up ordeal.
Yeah. I'll take a look at him. It's probably just a simple matter of stress. It's
There's a lot of
one these
anxiety.
once-in-a-lifetime things.
Yeah.
So I'll see what I can...
Also, he needs to get some sleep. It's like 3 hours until we have to go.
Right now, it's like you got off at 3. He went up there for a couple hours. It's like 6. All right. All right. We'll come up to the office. You can do it up here, right?
I do that pretty often.
All right. See you in a minute. You're doing all your tests. Everything comes back negative. This is just a pillowcase.
Okay.
And
Then he
Yi shows up.
I'm going to take you to a nice padded room.
Hey, Duncan. Look, I'm gonna be frank with you. You got nothing. You found a pillowcase. I'm a little concerned how you got access to the pillowcase because the doors should be locked down there.
Yes, there are. Well, okay, I'm gonna go take this pillowcase back. You want to come with me?
How about we both go with you, just to be sure?
Okay, let's go. I show him where I went,
And
how I got up there.
yeah, as we're walking along, now I've already, typical counselor thing. We've already got files on basically everyone, typical sanity, whatever. They're just having me do some refreshing on everything, make sure everyone's up to snuff and whatever. So
Mostly we're worried about anxiety. This is not a common occurrence.
Okay.
He puts his override in the lift so it'll go to the floor.
Oh.
So you don't have to do any weird climbing.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Walks out. All right. Where was it?
I go down that way.
All right. You come to a locked door.
Okay. I try the door.
It's locked. Door sealed.
Yep. I didn't bring the. I should have brought the dusting kit, but I didn't.
So where are the keys here? How do these open?
They have to have power to open.
Power to open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you describe what the inside of this room looked like?
There was a bed over there, and then there was the little rooms that way, and it was
Bog standard family room.
a family room. And I took this pillowcase off of. I got a pillowcase, right?
You got the pillowcase.
I took it off the.
Any more details? Like what color was everything? What
on.
were the dates?
Yeah.
Decorations?
Jim Jim steps aside for a second and makes a call out of earshot.
Okay.
I keep asking you a bunch of questions about
I
like the
keep
decor of the
giving- yeah.
room, and I try to get as much detail as I can about. Like I'm taking notes about how you describe it. Does he describe it consistently?
Roll me a psychoanalysis check.
Yeah.
36. I make it.
He's very consistent, but again, it's a pretty standard room layout. It's not like he wouldn't have seen an empty room before.
So these are all just standard empty rooms?
Yes.
All the empty rooms are standard?
There are 3 types of rooms: single rooms, family rooms, and large family rooms.
I have a single room.
Would those be evident from the outside which one is which?
Not from the outside, but
Lives alone.
a security directory would tell you which one is which. Roll me intelligence.
It was tempted to hit the wine for something, because I really like the idea.
Oh, 77 of 65.
I really like the idea of
Maybe a security director, you don't know.
scientists,
Hmm.
like, sort of stuff that
A good way to know.
like sleeping there, image of, like,
But
person who's awake.
after a little bit, Jim comes back and
But there's
the
like
door
a
lights up
kid
for a second.
and it's really cool shit.
Got isolated power, he says, and he types in a code and the door opens.
But not
Okay.
started that.
Walks inside.
So, these beds are like-
I let them go in. I tell them which room it was that I got the pillowcase off of.
It's the far room on the left.
Yeah. So, is there a pillowcase missing from over there?
You walk in. There's a pillow without a case.
Well, the door clearly must have been open somehow.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Why did you have
Somebody's-
the pillowcase again?
See that lock? There's that box.
The locker's locked.
Okay, that box was ajar when I came in, and I opened it up, and there was something in there that I took out and put it in the pillowcase so that I could so that I wouldn't touch it, so I could run some analysis on it. And by the time I got downstairs, it wasn't there in my
What
pillowcase.
was it, if I'm allowed to know?
It was just something I saw that I picked up. It was a little trinket. Does Jim say anything?
No, Jim's looking at you both a little funny. Well, you got the pillowcase.
Yeah.
Roll me psychoanalysis. Roll me sanity. This is not like a dangerous sanity roll. I just want to see how well you can.
91.
91.
Hey,
You can't put anything together as to what could have happened. Neither can Jim. All right. Well, you got the pillowcase, and there was no power to this room.
I guess retrace your steps, see if it slipped out.
Look,
But-
I'm gonna be frank here. If it slipped out, there would have been a trace of it in the pillowcase.
Yes.
Something must have happened. You thought you saw something. These hallways are spooky at the best of times, much less when you find something you shouldn't, like an open door that somehow closed again. Look, maybe one of the engineering kids got the bright idea to break in down here.
Maybe.
You know, Brian's kid, right? I don't put it past him to figure out how to open up one of these doors.
Okay. Yeah,
He
maybe.
is an interesting lad.
I mean, he's a nice kid, but he's got to learn some respect.
Also, perhaps a
Anyway.
little too obsessed with the works of C.S. Lewis. I can respect that, but a little obsessed.
Never read it myself. Anyway,
Okay.
look, I'm gonna call this a day. Don't worry about it. You got stuff tomorrow. I'll goes out and closes the door, and the power shuts down again after you all leave.
Okay.
I mean, some kid playing around. I'll maybe I can get some cameras activated up here and just make sure no one's getting up here when they shouldn't be, but not a whole lot we can do. No one was harmed, so just get ready for tomorrow.
Yep.
Need you focused.
I'll say basically the standard script for whatever I say with this kind of thing, but
Exactly.
new environments can be stressful.
Roll me spot hidden.
It's an 81. That's not going to make it. Not by a long shot.
Cool.
New environments, they can be stressful, they can be strange, they can get to our mind in all sorts of bizarre ways. Just be careful with what you see. You know, always keep your safeties on, proper trigger discipline and everything.
Yep.
It's the bog standard spiel. Just pay attention to it.
Common sense it up. Let's go. Begin walking out.
Yep.
As you're walking, roll me a sanity check.
Cool.
This is Yi.
That's a 90.
Fail.
All right.
All these failures.
You saw something,
I keep going.
but like, you saw something, and it's bothering you now.
As a note, when a character fails a sanity roll, the keeper can take control, can dictate what
Yeah.
their next action is.
Okay.
You're with 2 security officers right now.
Yeah.
Maybe still play it cool.
Not if the keeper says it can't.
Like, just try to take a better look for a moment.
Turn around and look.
Mhm.
Roll me spot hidden again.
I should really have put points into spot hidden, but that's
You don't
30,
see.
which doesn't do it.
You don't see anything, but you hear the voice of a child. Not like a small child, like 11 or 12-year-old.
Listen to figure out what that is.
Sure, listen, try to pinpoint it.
I put lots of things.
Again, failure.
You can't make anything out about it. It sounds like a pair of children having a whispered conversation.
All sort of. How far are we from the
lift?
from the left? Yeah.
Probably about 50 meters.
Speed up.
I mean, I'll actually kind of start like picking up the pace a little bit.
Okay. You pick up the pace. The other 2 follow suit. Jim seems to assume that this place is not the most. It's kind of unsettling.
Yeah.
You get to the lift. He lets you out on your respective. You live on deck 3. You live on deck 4.
Okay.
Lets you out. Says goodnight and heads out.
Okay.
You're still burning with curiosity.
I try to drown it in my work.
All right. You wake up at, you know what? You wake up at midnight because you haven't been able to sleep. And what you do, we'll figure out next week.
Cool.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.